Scottish football has been dominated by Celtic and Rangers for decades. I think today it's time that we change that, as today we are going to be taking charge of Dundee FC, who currently sits 7th in the Scottish Premier League. The D haven't won a major Scottish trophy since 1974, making them ideal candidates for a rebuild. So today we are jumping into FC25, taking charge of Dundee FC with the end goal of ultimately winning the Champions League trophy. And if you do enjoy the content, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it does really help me out. We have just recently hit 4,000 subscribers and I do want to try and hit 5,000 by the end of the year. Let's now jump into FC25 and get this Dundee rebuild on the way. Well, this is the Dundee FC team we have loaded into in FC25, and once again lads, it's yet another back five. I'm so bored of loading rebuilds up and seeing a back five formation. It seems to be every single rebuild. Now bearing in mind this is a 1.5 star team, it's nowhere near as bad as I was anticipating. I was expecting to see plenty of 50 rated players in this team. There's none, which is a very good start. We are going to have a player in with the formation because there's no chance I'm using a 5 at the back. Now we have picked a formation, boys, and we do have to take into consideration that this Dundee team is not the strongest on paper. So we are going to take a slightly more defensive approach in this rebuild, going with the 4-1-4-1 formation, just giving our defence a little bit more security of a defensive midfielder, as Silla is actually the best player at the club and he is a CDM at 68 rated. This formation has also allowed us to get plenty of young players into the team with an eye on development heading into season 2, because in season 1 we are completely not allowed to strengthen the team as transfers are banned. So we are actually stuck with the current bunch of players that we've got, and I do think in the early seasons we are going to struggle with this Dundee team because we're going to have very small budgets and we don't really start off with any really impressive players. Now as we know, in this rebuild we're going to be using a more defensive approach, so we are going to be using the counter-attack tactical system. As the team progresses and gets stronger throughout the rebuild, we may look to change up the formation and the play style, but as of right now I think this is the best way to get results with Dundee. Now as we've already discussed, the best player at the club is Mohamed Silla, who is 30-year-old and 68 rated, meaning he's not really going to grow by much more. However, we do have an excellent young player in Lyle Cameron, who is 66 rated and 21-year-old, can play all across the midfield. He is definitely someone to keep an eye on. We also have centre-back Jordan McGee at 27-year-old and 66 rated, who looks pretty decent. But after that lads, most of our better players are actually aging in the late 20s, early 30s, and that is going to cause us a bit of a problem moving forward, as there's not going to be much resale value in these players and they're not going to develop by much more. Now in season 1 we've only got £1 million in the bank. We've got a whole host of players' contracts expiring at the end of the season. Are we even going to have enough money to renew these contracts? I've got no idea. And as you know, in these rebuilds recently I've been asking you, where should I send my youth scouts? Well, today we are going to be going with this comment, and we will be sending our youth scouts to Finland. How much money are we going to actually have to sign youth players though in season 1? That is a complete other question. And speaking of our youth academy, we do have 2 decent players who are going to be promoted straight to the senior team, in Kirk Murray, who is 67 rated and he's got potential from anywhere 67 to 78 rated. Will he be an endgame player? No. Will he make us better right now? Yes. So he's been promoted straight to the senior team. And we have also got centre back Reece Morrison, who's 17-year-old, 64 rated. He's got potential between 64 and 86, which is decent. Once again, he's going to get promoted straight to the senior team, going straight into the starting 11. Now as transfers are completely banned in season 1, I don't really think there's much more we can do but simulate forward straight through to the end of the season. We've picked a team, analysed the squad, looked at the finances, sent our youth scouts out, and I'm not expecting much, but let's see where Dundee FC finish in season 1. So we have arrived at the end of season number 1, boys, and what an absolute disaster this season has been. We have finished 12th in the Scottish Premier League, meaning we have finished bottom of the table on 18 points. We were 16 points off Hibernian in 11th place, just showing we have got so much work to do in the rebuild. And I'm sure you needed no guesses, we crashed out in the first round of the Scottish Cup, losing 2-1 to St Johnstone. So this is how the team is looking at the end of the season. A lot of unhappy faces in that team. You may notice we've got a youth academy player in the central midfield position, Tuome, I think that's how you pronounce his name. We have got a 70 rated player in the team, as Cameron has reached 70 rated. Heading into season 2, where do we improve the squad? Lads, it's literally just getting the best deals we can possibly get. I'll literally take anyone in any position other than right midfield probably. We're going to have to scour the free agents list and the loan list, as I think we're going to get about £1 million, so we're probably not going to be able to make any cash signings. And our first transfer window as Dundee boss, probably one of the most important we're going to have, it's going to be very, very difficult to recruit players. Now, in terms of stats, Lyle Cameron was our best player, getting 14 goals and 4 assists, going to 70 rated. Scott Tiffany didn't have a bad season either, getting 12 goals and 3 assists. After that, boys, hardly any goals scored at all from the rest of the squad. However, season 1 was not a complete disaster, as our youth academy is full of talent, boys. The pick of the bunch being Elias Järvinen, who is 55 rated and 15 years old with 87 to 93 potential. We then also have Sampo Kuranen, who is 57 rated and 15-year-old, 86 to 92 potential. And we have also got Aro Viti, who is 63 rated and 17-year-old with 84 to 90 potential. And if I'm honest, boys, I'm probably going to promote him and put him straight into our starting 11. So an absolute disaster on the pitch, but our youth academy is thriving. Let's get into season 2 and try to rectify some of this damage. So we have arrived in season 2 and we do actually have £3 million in the bank, which will help us out a slight bit. We have now got to seriously work hard in the transfer window to make the most of this money. We will once again, though, boys, be sending our youth scouts to Finland, as we've had really good results from there so far. So, boys, we have made a lightning start to our transfer window and we have already made 3 signings. Kicking off our signings, the first player to join the club is defensive midfielder Joe Hodge, who signs on a 1-year loan from Wolverhampton Wanderers. 22-year-old, 66 rated, looks like a decent player, and at the end of the season we'll have the option to sign him for £1.7 million. And our second signing of the summer was yet another loan signing, loaning in Michael Mellon from Burnley on a 2-year loan. He's 65 rated, 21-year-old, really nice stats. At the end of his loan we can sign him for just £1 million, which makes this a very good deal, and hopefully the signing of Mellon improves our goal output in season 2. And now, lads, we have pulled off an insane free agent signing, bringing in Georgi Kokorashvili on a 2-year deal. He is 72 rated, 26-year-old. His stats are brilliant, instantly the best player at the football club, and he was absolutely insane in the recent European Championships, and I'm hoping he can replicate that form in a Dundee shirt. Now, after these 3 signings we are left with 900k in the bank, but we have got a shed load of contracts to renew once again, so that could be the end of our transfer business. And lads, we have managed to make one final signing in this transfer window, and I'm really happy with this one. Gabriele Zappa has joined the club on a 2-year deal, as he was a free agent. He is 25-year-old, 72 rated, looks like a really decent player on paper, and he is a huge upgrade in the right back position. However, it's currently left us with just 10 grand in the bank, meaning we have absolutely maxed out our transfer budget. We are going to try and sell some players, then we're going to use the funds we recuperate, bring in academy players and some new coaches. That is definitely our transfer window done in terms of incoming. And with all the new signings in the team, this will be the Dundee FC team to take us into season 2. It's looking much stronger on paper. 4 youth academy players in our starting 11. We now also have 3 70 rated players in there as well. I'm hoping we can get more than 24 points, as that was a disgrace last season. Now, boys, we have had some outgoings in this window. Antonio Portela has left the club. He has gone to Turkey for 650 grand. We have got a massive traitor in our midst, as Trevor Carson has made the 100-metre walk up to Dundee United for 90 grand. This guy is a very unpopular man in Dundee right now. We sold Clark Robertson for 520 grand, and we've also loaned out one of our Finnish youngsters, Michael Vilho. He has gone out on a 2-year loan, and hopefully when he comes back he is pushing for a first team place. So that will be our transfer window completely rounded off. No more business is taking place in season number 2. Let's simulate forward straight through to the end of the season and put that disgraceful first season well in our rear view mirror. So we have arrived at the end of season 2, boys, and this is how you respond to a poor season. You go and finish 4th the season after absolutely insane performance from our players this season, as we have accumulated 59 points. And I think off the top of my head, the team who finished 4th in the SPFL qualify for the Conference League. I could be mistaken though, we will find out when we progress into season 3. And we were much better in the Scottish Cup, reaching the semi-finals, where unfortunately Celtic did batter us, and once again it will be an old firm in the final. So this is how the team is looking at the end of season 2. We've had a lot of growth across the entire team, and our squad is looking nice and day compared to the team that we started with. Our standout players are Zappa, Cameron and Kokorashvili. Them 3 are real shining lights in this team. Our young youth players are growing nicely as well. Murray and Morrison are now 70 rated, with Tuomi and Viti not far behind at 66 rated. But where do we improve this team heading into season number 3? Well, let's not forget that 1.7 million is instantly gone from our budget, as we have to make Joe Hodge's loan permanent, and at 23-year-old and 70 rated, I do think it's a pretty good deal, so we will be making making it happen. I'm then going to focus the rest of our money in signing a centre-back to replace Kumetio. He's 23-year-old, 68 rated. He's not really at the standard that I want at Dundee. If we want to make progression next season, we have to solidify our back line. So as of right now, as I don't know the budget, Hodge is getting brought in and a new centre-back, and that could be us done. Now, in terms of stats, Michael Mellon turned out to be an outstanding signing, getting 23 goals and 3 assists. Georgi Kokorashvili was outstanding. What a signing he turned out to be, 14 goals and 5 assists. Then after that, boys, not many involvements once again from the rest of the team. And 2 absolutely insane youngsters will be promoted to our senior team, as Koronen and Jarvanen have both turned 16. They've got insane potential. We'll be promoting both to the senior team and getting them both out on loan next season. So we had an excellent season 2. We responded brilliantly to finishing bottom of the league in season 1, and I'm excited to see where we go in season 3. So we have arrived in season 3 and we have only got £3 million as a transfer budget, meaning after we bring Hodge into the club on a permanent deal, we are really going to struggle to sign a centre-back. We will try to sell a few players to try and raise some funds, but this could seriously hamper our progress in season 3, boys. But I do really like Joe Hodge, and at 23-year-old and 70 rated for 1.7 million, I think this will be a really decent signing. And Hodge has committed his long-term future to Dundee, signing a 5-year deal. However, lads, we are now completely dependent on outgoings. We're going to make another signing, as we have only got 965 grand in the bank. So, lads, we have managed to bring a centre-back through the door in this transfer window, but in all honesty, I may have just panicked and made a pretty poor signing here. John Martin has joined us on a 2-year loan. He's 64 rated, 20-year-old, worth 1.1 million. In 2 years' time, we can make his loan permanent for 900 grand, but if I'm honest, he's 5 overalls below Kumetio already. Does he make us better? No. Is he super young with really high potential? No. Will have a role to play off the bench, but I'm not really convinced by this signing, boys. So, lads, there has been a little bit of movement in terms of outgoings in this window. Jordan McGee has left the club. He's gone to America for 630 grand, and we have managed to loan out both of our Finnish wonder kids. They are out on loan for the next 2 seasons. Now, we do have £1 million in the bank, but if I'm brutally honest, boys, this money doesn't really do anything to improve our team. Kumetio has grown to 69 rated already. Don't think £1 million is going to bring anyone in who actually gets into this team and makes us better. We may have to invest that £1 million into coaches and try and develop the players that we've already got. I don't think there's actually going to be another signing in this transfer window, boys. I have had a look at the free agents list and I just haven't found anyone worth signing. Now, we do have some good news, boys. We are in the Conference League this season. I'm hopeful we can progress through the league phase and get to the knockout phases, which would bring some much needed revenue to the club, as it will be next to impossible to build Dundee up without money, and that's something we just do not have. We've got no money. Now, I don't think there's much more we can do but simulate forward straight through to the end of season 3. But the really disappointing transfer window we've just had behind us, and my personal target for this season is just try and get 4th spot again. So we've arrived at the end of season 3, boys, and after a pretty disappointing transfer window at the start of the season, it would have been very easy for us to feel sorry for ourselves. Well, that is exactly what we have not done, as we have finished 3rd in the Scottish Premiership on 76 points. We have massively closed the gap between us and Celtic and Rangers down to just 5 points, and surely this is enough for the board to start giving us some money, because we are so close to competing with Celtic and Rangers. We just need that cash injection, but we will not be getting a cash injection from the Scottish Cup performance, as we were knocked out in the quarterfinals by Celtic. But lads, let me tell you, I am over the moon with our performance in the Conference League. As we got to the quarterfinals, we had a very favourable run before meeting Trabzonspor in the quarterfinals, and they just had too much quality for us. Beat us 5-2 over 2 legs, but this has to bring a decent amount of money into the club. Now, 2 very exciting youngsters will be promoted to the senior team this year. Duo Oliver, who is 16-year-old, 64 rated and got 80 to 86 potential. He's also got 5-star skill moves for a centre-back. He will be promoted to the senior team and sent out on loan. And midfielder Viini Mairo, who is 68 rated and 17-year-old with 75 to 81 potential. He will also be promoted to the senior team, but he'll be on the bench next season as a rotation player. And this is how the team is looking at the end of season number 3. Every single player in the team is now above 70 rated, which is really good to see. Now, going into season number 4, where do we improve this team? Well, it's really hard to say, boys, because we just do not know how much money we're going to get. I would love nothing more than to bring a new centre-back into the club, as it's what we've wanted to do for the last 2 seasons, but we just have to see how much money we've got before I can make any suggestions. But you may remember at the start of the season, we sent 2 very exciting youngsters from our youth academy out on loan, and just look at how much growth they have had. Sampo Koronen has grown to 71 rated at 17-year-old. Lads, I have to throw him into the starting 11. He is being recalled, and going into season 4, we will be retraining him to a left midfielder, and he will be our first choice left midfielder going into next season. And Elias Järvinen is having a great loan as well, 69 rated and 17-year-old. However, we will allow him to spend the next season still out on loan and still developing. And in terms of stats, Michael Mellon this season was insane. 32 goals and 4 assists. We love to see it. I can't wait to make this man's loan a permanent deal. But Georgia Kokorashvili, this guy has been an unbelievable free agent signing. 26 goals and 9 assists from the centre of midfield, and it's absolutely essential we tie this man down to a long-term deal. So season 3 was very, very impressive on the pitch, especially after a disappointing transfer window. The board have got to give me some money in season 4 so I can start challenging Celtic and Rangers. So we have arrived in season 4, and the board have given us £5 million to improve our team, and our first order of business is to make Michael Mellon's loan into a permanent deal for just £1 million. And Michael Mellon is in for £1 million. What a signing, but he is taking home 20 grand a week, and that leaves us with just £3 million in the bank. But we do have some players listed for transfer, which should recuperate some transfer funds. So after bringing in Mellon, we did dip into the loan market, and I think we've made a really decent signing in the goalkeeper position, as Max Schmidt has joined us on a 1-year loan from Bayern Munich. He's 21-year-old, 70 rated. I've got no doubt by the end of the season this man will be 73, 74 rated, and we can sign him at the end of the season for just £2 million, which I think is an excellent deal, already below his market value. And hopefully we've got a couple more quality signings to follow him through the door, as we have made some sales and we have managed to raise some more funds. And this now means we have got £6 million in the bank, and I want to invest this money into a new centre-back. And finally, we can make a cash signing in season 4. It's only taken 4 seasons, boys, and we will be going in for a Leon centre-back, Simon Bloksij. I think that's how you pronounce his name. If that's mispronounced, by the way, blame Google, because I put his name into Google and that is the pronunciation it gave me. He's 72 rated, 22-year-old, got decent stats, and the main thing about this man is he is very affordable. We're going to be paying anywhere from 3 to 5 million. I'm confident we can strike a good deal, and we would finally be bolstering our centre-back position, which I've been trying to do for 2 seasons. And Bloksij is in for 4.35 million. That is definitely our transfer window done, as we are now left with just 305 grand in the bank, and we've got no other players listed for transfer, meaning our business is more than likely finished. And with our transfer window done, this is the team to take us into season 4, and whisper it quietly, boys, we are getting there. Starting 11 is looking very, very strong on paper, especially for the Scottish League. So our transfer window is now officially done, boys. No one else has joined or left the club in season 4, and our reward for finishing 3rd last season is a place in this year's UEFA Europa League. If we can have a good run in this competition, boys, that will bring so much revenue into the football club, and that could give us a cash injection we need to compete with Celtic and Rangers. So I'm really hoping we can get through the league phase in the Europa League this season, and to find out if we do, we are simulating forward straight through to the end of season 4. So we have arrived at the end of season number 4, boys, and despite pushing Celtic all the way, we missed out on Champions League football by just 1 point, as Celtic finished on 78 points. We finished on 77. So close to getting Dundee FC into the Champions League. We're gonna have to wait at least another season, as we are back in the Europa League again next season. And we have won our first bit of silverware of the rebuild, beating Rangers 2-1 in the Scottish Cup final, and that is Dundee FC's first major trophy since 1974. What a result. Now in the Europa League, we did manage to get through the league phase, but wow, boys, in the playoff round, we were humiliated 9-2 over 2 legs by Villarreal, just showing there's still a lot of work to do to get Dundee FC ready for European football. Now, this is how the team is looking at the end of season number 4, and it has to be said, boys, this is a very, very strong team on paper. No one in the midfield and forward positions are under 75 rated, which we love to see, and we only actually have 2 players in the entire starting 11 who are under 75 rated, in Murray and Morris. Morrison, and they are two players we may look to replace in season 5. We definitely want to bring a left back to the club, and I'd love to bring a centre back to the club, but it's completely dependent on how much money the board give us. And as you know, in this rebuild so far, our budgets have been very, very small. Now, in terms of stats, we had a much better season in terms of scoring goals, as 5 players hit double figures this season. So we pushed Celtic all the way in season 4 for Champions League football, and they narrowly pipped us to second spot. Let's get into season 5, try our best with the budget we've got to improve our starting 11, and hopefully in season 5 we can get into the top 2. So we've arrived in season number 5, and once again we've only got £5 million in the bank, and this is starting to really hamper our progress. Now, I would be an absolute fool to not sign Max Schmidt on a permanent deal. He is valued at 5.5 million, and we are going to sign him for just 2 million. He is an excellent young goalkeeper, so let's get this deal wrapped up. And Max Schmidt is committed to Dundee FC for the next 4 seasons, and this is a great signing. But we are now left with just 2 million in the bank, and I'm just starting to really struggle to see how we can progress this rebuild without just using youth academy players, as we're literally getting no money through the door at all, and we're really struggling to improve our team at the minute. And lads, I have made a very, very, very major decision, and it does involve Lyle Cameron. Now, Lyle Cameron is currently the best player at the club at 82 rated and 25-year-old. However, we have got an insane young winger in Elias Järvinen, who's 18-year-old and 75 rated, and an exciting prospect who has undoubtedly got much higher potential than Lyle Cameron. And on the other wing, we have got Sampo Koronen, who is 76 rated and 18-year-old and has potential to be special. These two players are literally the future of Dundee FC. And if we were to sell Lyle Cameron in this transfer window, I think we could get roughly £35 million for him. And that money would go such a long way in improving our defence. I think we're going to have to just take the hit, sell Lyle Cameron, get a big amount of money into the football club, and improve our backline. So outgoings have taken place, and trust me, we have brought some major money into this football club. Kicking things off, Lucas Wood has left the club for 800 grand. He is surplus to requirements, and the same can be said for Ryan Astley, who's left the club for 1.5 million. And we made the very difficult decision to sell Lyle Cameron, who has gone to Fenerbahce for, wait for it, £45 million, which now leaves us with £43 million in the bank to improve our back line by bringing in a left back and centre back who can hopefully propel us towards Champions League football. And boys, we are kicking off our transfer business with what will be an unbelievable signing, as we have targeted Christian Moisa of Monaco. He is 23 years old, he is 80 rated, his stats are insane, he's got 5-star weak foot, and his contract is expiring in 11 months time, meaning we can get him from anywhere between 17 and 23 million pounds, leaving us with adequate money to bring in a left back. And Christian Moisa is in for 21 million. This is such a good deal. Let's hope we can get a left back in for a similar price. And we have spent a good while scouting through the transfer market to bring in an ideal left back to Dundee, as we really want to use the rest of this money wisely. And we have identified Julio Soler of Marseille as our primary target. He's 23-year-old, 77 rated, got pretty decent stats, but the main thing that draws me to Soler is we will only have to pay anywhere from 9.8 to 13.1 million for him, as his contract is expiring in 11 months time. Just think he would be a very good signing, and I really hope he could grow past 80 rated in this rebuild. And we have brought Julio Soler into the club for just £10 million, which I think is a really good deal. And we actually still have 11 million in the bank, which is really going to help us out. We can bring a boatload more coaches to the club to help player development, but as of right now, our transfer window is definitely done, and that means this will be the Dundee team to take us into season 5. I know we sold our best player in Cameron, but look how much stronger our back line is now looking, and it's actually balanced out the rest of the team. I'm really expecting our wingers Koronen and Järvinen to both reach 80 rated this season, which would be a massive boost. And once again this year, we are in the Europa League. I'm hoping we can have a better showing than last season, as we got humiliated in the playoff round by Villarreal. Let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season number 5 and see how this new look Dundee team get on. So we have arrived at the end of season number 5, and we've only gone and done it, boys. We have won the Scottish Premier League on 79 points, 6 points clear of second place Hearts, with Celtic and Rangers occupying 3rd and 4th spot, meaning they don't even get Champions League football. But I know someone who does get Champions League football. Dundee FC are in the Champions League in season 6, and I'm really hoping that brings a lot of to the football club. However, we could not defend our Scottish Cup crown as Rangers did beat us 3-0 in a quarter-final replay. And lads, we once again crashed out of the Europa League in the playoff phase, losing 4-3 over 2 legs to Benfica. And this is the Dundee FC team that has won the Scottish Premier League, and just look at it, boys. So many 80 rated players in that team. Thinking back to the start of the season, it was definitely a good idea to sell Lyle Cameron, as Soler and Mawisa are two of our best players, with Soler reaching 80 rated and Mawisa reaching 83 rated. Without selling Cameron, we could not have brought them two players in. All of our young players are developing at a wonderful rate, especially Coronen, Toomey and Järvinen, all well over 80 rated. Now heading into season 6, we will probably get around £10 million, I think, and I don't think we're going to be able to bring anyone in who gets straight into our starting 11 without selling anyone, but I'm not really open to selling anyone at all. If there was any position on the pitch I'd want to improve, it's the right back position, as Zappa is now 78 rated and 29-year-old and definitely at his peak, but I just don't think we're going to get enough money to actually improve our starting 11. Now in terms of stats, Michael Mellon was once again our best player, getting 28 goals and 6 assists, but just look at how good Elias Järvinen was. 26 goals and 3 assists, just proving our decision to sell Cameron was a good one. So season 5 was absolutely insane. Let's get into season 6 and get Dundee ready for Champions League football. So we have arrived in season number 6, and I was correct, we have only got 11 million in the bank. Unless there's a really good free agent out there, we are not improving our first team with this money. And our prayers have been answered, boys. Ivan Mancini was on the free agents list. He's 18-year-old, 79 rated, an exciting prospect. Unbelievable physical stats. He goes straight into our starting 11. We can sell Zappa, bring some money in, then we can actually improve the squad. What a find this is on the free agents list. As we know, this season we are in the Champions League, and I don't just want to be in the Champions League to make up the numbers. I don't just want to be a free win for other side. However, one area of the squad that does concern me is our bench. That bench is not even close to being Champions League standard. How do we actually bring players in now with 11 million who give us a fighting chance in the Champions League? That's the free agents list. That's where the free agents list comes in. We're going to have a scour through the free agents list, ideally bringing in a central midfielder and striker, add some more depth to the squad. And looking through the free agents list has turned out to be an unbelievable idea, as we have picked up 2 very good players. Starting off with Tijani Noslin, who is a 79 rated 29-year-old striker, perfect backup to Michael Mellon, looks like a really decent player, and he's with us for the next 3 seasons. And we have gone out and made an insane signing in the central defensive midfield position, as we have signed Billy Gilmore on a 4-year deal. He's 28-year-old, 81 rated, his stats are brilliant, and he is our new first choice centre defensive midfielder. And we have still got £7 million in the bank, and we've not yet sold Zappa, so we could actually make a cash signing as well in this window. And as of right now, our team is looking very, very strong. The lowest rated player in the entire team is 79 rated, and I expect Schmidt, Bloxage and Mancini all to be 80 rated by the end of the season. This team is looking strong. Our bench is also looking strong. I do think we've got a chance of getting through the league phase in the Champions League. And after all the excitement of bringing class free agents to the club, players have left as well. And this actually leaves us with £20 million in the bank. And honestly, I just don't know where I can spend this money to improve the team, as I don't actually think 20 million is going to bring someone in who actually gets into our starting 11. So I am actually going to do something that I don't normally do. I am going to let this 20 million sit in our bank account, as we've already made excellent free agent signings. And worst case scenario, we just save a massive chunk of money to go into next season's budget. So as of right now, our transfer window is done. There's been no further incomings or outgoings. As we know, this season we are in the Champions League. I'm not going to do what I usually do and run through every single fixture, but my goals for the Champions League are literally just try to get out of the league phase, and if we can do that, I will be absolutely over the moon. So let's waste no further time. Let's simulate forward straight through to the end of season 6, see how we got on in the Champions League, and see if we manage to retain our Scottish Premier League crown. So we have arrived at the end of season number 6, and it's another league title for Dundee FC, as we have once again won the league, but this time there was a massive 15-point gap between us and second place Rangers. Is that Celtic and Rangers officially dethroned as Scotland's most dominant sides? I'm going to say yes, as back-to-back league titles with Dundee, massive point differences, suggest to me Dundee are the new dominant force in Scotland, and we may need to rein it back in a little bit, as we were beaten in the Scottish Cup semi-final by Rangers 3-1, setting up an Old Firm final. And you know what? Our performance in the Champions League was very, very good. We got through the league phase and lost in the playoff round to PSG 5-4, pushing them all the way. And if we can push the likes of PSG, we can push anyone in the Champions League. So next season, just giving the board actually give us a decent budget, I'm hoping we can get to at least around the 16 or maybe the quarterfinals. And speaking of budget, we didn't spend the £20 million this season that we left in our bank account, so surely that will get added onto next season's transfer budget. Now, this is the Dundee team at the end of season 6, and just look at it, boys. This is a proper Champions League level team on paper. So many high 80 rated players in the team, and I think we're officially at the point where the money the board give us just will not bring a player in who gets onto our starting 11 at all, and I think they'd even struggle to get onto our bench, boys. Given the fact we've got 20 million still in the bank, I'm expecting the board to add 15 to that. I think we're going to get about 35 million to spend. I may do a bit of wheeling dealing and use a cash plus player deal to bring in the new goalkeeper, as he's the lowest rated player in the team, and I do want to keep improving the team every single season. Now, in terms of stats, Michael Mellon has been dethroned. Elias Järvinen was our best player this season, getting 34 goals and 9 assists. So season 6 was a highly impressive season on the pitch, in my opinion. We are literally just at the board's mercy now. We need more money. We're going to keep progressing Dundee. Let's get into season 7 and see if the board are being stingy once again. So we have arrived in season 7, and serious questions need to be asked of the Dundee FC board. They've only given us 23 million. They've literally just added 3 million onto the 20 million we already had in the bank. Boys, they've completely shafted us. We are going to try to bring in a goalkeeper, doing a cash plus player deal involving Schmidt, but even that might not be possible. The board are seriously holding us back at the minute. So boys, we are going to be going with my idea of a cash plus player deal involving Schmidt in the goalkeeping department, and we are going to go in for Mike Penders, who is playing for Lille in French League. He is 24-year-old, 82 rated, 6'7". Stats are absolutely brilliant. He's the same age as Schmidt, but he's 2 overalls better, and we are going to offer up Schmidt as part of the deal and offer maybe 10 million, 5 million. Let's just see what Lille want to play with, and hopefully Penders will be a Dundee player in literally 5 seconds. And Mike Penders joins the club, boys, for 11.5 million plus Max Schmidt, and I'm happy with this deal. And the board also rate it an A-rated deal. Yeah, they would do, as it saved them some money. And that does leave us with £11 million in the bank, and I'm not really looking to sell anyone from the first team in this transfer window. So I think what we're going to do with the rest of this money is bring some more coaches in. We're going to have a scour through the free agents list for a rotation-based central midfielder. So after searching the free agents list, we couldn't really find a decent backup central midfielder, but we have found a good backup right midfielder who can play central midfield, and that is Daniel Gleiber. He is 25-year-old, 75 rated, looks like a pretty decent player, and he is at a good age, so he can still develop. And the main talking point about Gleiber, he has got 95 finishing. He is absolutely lethal in the box. And lads, this is very, very interesting. We have had a huge bid come in for Georgi Kokorashvili, who is 31-year-old and 84 rated. This is probably going to be our last chance to get a massive fee for him before he starts to deteriorate. And overall, our board seem to think we could get up to 50 million for him. If we can get a good deal for Kokorashvili and add the 10 million pound that's already in our bank account to a transfer budget, we could be able to bring in an insane endgame central midfielder. So I think we are going to have to use our business brain and put sentiment to one side, try and squeeze as much cash out of Kokorashvili as we can. And the deal is confirmed, boys. Georgi Kokorashvili has left Dundee for 45 million to Celta Vigo. This guy has been unbelievable in this rebuild, scored so many goals, one of the best free agent signings I have ever made in career mode, but we just could not turn down 45 million for his services. And now that does leave us with 49 million in the bank, and we are going to use this money to bring in a replacement central midfielder and a backup central midfielder, showing the money is going to go a long way. So who is the man tasked with replacing Kokorashvili? Well, that man is Giovanni Fabian, who is 27-year-old, 84 rated, has absolutely insane attributes. Look at how well-rounded this guy is. And lads, his contract is expiring at the end of the season, meaning we're going to pay anywhere from 28 to 38 million for him. We're going to get a massive cut price deal, and this would be an insane signing. And Giovanni Fabian signs for Dundee for 35.5 million. This is a great signing. And we have gone straight back out into the transfer transfer market with our remaining money and brought in a backup central midfielder, which we desperately needed. Alessandro Bianco is now a Dundee player. He's 27-year-old, 78 rated, really decent player, and we've signed him for just 10.5 million, and he is a great backup to have on the bench. However, that is definitely our transfer business done, as we've only got 290k in the bank. So with our transfer business completed, this will be the Dundee team to take us into season number 7. The squad looks so good on paper. Let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season number 7 and see if we were in fact dark horses in the Champions League. So we have arrived at the end of season 7, and it is yet more domination in the SPFL, as we have once again won the league on 92 points. Absolutely leagues away from Celtic and Rangers. That is another trophy added to our trophy cabinet. However, in the Scottish Cup, we lost in the first round to arch rivals Dundee United. Let's just sweep that one under the carpet. And this season in the Champions League, we did exceptionally well, getting to the quarter-final stage where we lost narrowly on penalties to Real Sociedad. That is a really encouraging step in the right direction. And looking at our team, I am really not surprised to see how well we have done in the Champions League, as this team is definitely one of the better sides in the Champions League. We have now got 290 rated players in our midfield, and the lowest rated player in our starting 11 is 83 rated. That is absolutely unbelievable. And our bench is looking absolutely quality. We're just lacking a backup centre back. And heading into season number 8, I don't think we're going to get anywhere near enough money to improve our starting 11. So our focus for season 8 will be bringing in a very suitable backup centre back. So we have arrived in season number 8, and it is our best transfer budget today, as we've got £34 million. So let's now get working on bringing a backup centre back to Dundee. So we have identified the centre back we want to bring to Dundee in this transfer window, and it is Felix, who is currently playing for Bournemouth. He's 27-year-old, 80 rated, really solid backup centre back option, and he's affordable as well, boys. We're going to be paying anywhere from 13.4 to 17.9 million, and Felix is in for £15 million, leaving us with 16 million left in the bank. And let's be brutally honest, boys, we ain't bringing anyone in with 16 million who improves our squad. We're also not looking to sell absolutely anybody in this transfer window, so we're going to keep it short and sweet. In the Champions League this season, we got to the quarterfinals last season. I would love to one-up that and get to the semi-finals. Let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season number 8 and see how Dundee got on. We have arrived at the end of season number 8, boys, and you already know what's coming. Champions of Scotland yet again, far too easy. However, we were knocked out of the Scottish Cup in the quarterfinals, and really not what we wanted to see. Dundee United have actually gone on to win the trophy. But on this channel, we are all about one-upping our neighbours, as we are in the Champions League final and we will be taking on Atletico Madrid. In the league phase, we were outstanding. We finished 4th out of all the sides, which is unbelievable, winning 6 of our games. In the round of 16, we easily dispatched Frankfurt, beating them 6-2. We then went on to smash Juventus 7-2 over 2 legs, which is insane. We would then go on to beat Liverpool 5-3 over 2 legs before setting up a tie with Atletico Madrid in the final. And you boys don't understand how happy I am to see AC Milan are not our opponent in the final. It seems to always be them. And this is the Dundee team that has got us to a Champions League final, and just look at it, boys. What a team that is. I'm actually really impressed with the team we've built on such a small budget. We've got youth academy players in there, we've got free agent signings in there, got loan to buy signings in there, and we haven't really spent a whole lot of money on this team. And going into this final, we've also got plenty of options off the bench, and I'm actually really confident, and I cannot wait to use this team in the final. And speaking of the final, all that's left to do now is jump into the Champions League final and beat Atletico Madrid. So here we go, boys. It's Champions League final time at the Estadio Santiago Bernabeu. Imagine if Atletico Madrid could win Champions League trophy at their biggest rival stadium. That would be truly something. I actually have a shot here, you know, boys. There's a dig from distance, and it's an easy save for Lucas Chevalier. And Atletico have got a free kick about 40 yards out, whipped into the area. Let's oh, it's a free header. What a tackle. Right, we need to wake up, because they've had a decent chance to score there. Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing? Oh, Jesus Christ, man. Nice play from Atletico, who have been well on top in this final so far, I have to admit. Can we make a chance here to me? Melon. Oh, it's a great tackle by Brandt, where we really can't touch Atletico at the minute. And FC25, nothing. Oh, tackle. Got to be a goal. Give it back. That's unbelievable. Nope. Oh, what a save, man. What a save. Mancini, oh, it's a great tackle by Cock, and that's going to be half time, boys. Last chance of the half, completely wasted. Could have really made something happen there, but it's 0-0 going into the break. No clear-cut chances, to be honest. That's too easy from Sorensen, that. Oh, no. Oh, dear. What a save. What a save by Penders. That's why we signed him. To me. Great ball. Coronan. Coronan. Gets past his man. Need a cut back. It's there. Havent. It's 1-0 in the Champions League final. Brilliant play by Coronan to shrug off his man. Beats 2 challenges. Lays it across the 6-yard box. And Havent, on his form that he's been on this season, he is never missing from there. There's the full-time whistle, boys. We have won the Champions League trophy with Dundee FC. Pretty lacklustre, boring final, but who's asked? We are the champions of Europe. And once again, boys, the Champions League trophy is completely invisible. When are EA going to fix this? We've put so much hard work in to win a Champions League with Dundee, and we can't even watch them lift the trophy. So just want to say a massive thank you for watching the video, boys. If you did enjoy it, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next week for another rebuild.